Hey there, Stampers. This is Sherry Roth with StampedTreasures.com. I am a Canadian Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and I am happy to be here today with you to share with you a couple cards created using the Tropical Chic or Tropical Escape bundle. Actually, it's called the Tropical Chic bundle. So it's this Tropical Chic stamp set and coordinating framelets, and then this beautiful Tropical Escape DSP. So this is a 6x6 DSP pack. So it's got some gorgeous greens and pinks in there. One that really jumped out at me from the new catalog. Okay, so this is going to be quick because I'm showing two cards. Normally on a video I only show one. I just want to remind you that if you make a purchase with me, use the hostess code, and if your order is over $50 and it is placed between now and July 31st of 2018, I will send you a free package of red rhinestones with your order, or with your thank you card, sorry. All right, and if you comment on this post between July 20th and July 26th, if you comment on this video or in the Facebook post where I'm going to post the link to this video, then you'll get entered to win the two cards that I make today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. These are the two cards that we're going to make, and I'm going to, like I said, try to be very quick about this because I really don't want to keep this too long, and it's hard to upload a long video. So this is a fancy fold card. I call it a diagonal fold. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but we're going to start with that. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can cut and score to get two out of one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we've got a full 8.5 by 11 sheet, and we are going to put it at 4 1/4 and score up the middle. Then we're going to rotate a quarter of a turn and score it at 5.5 inches. And then we are going to put it at an angle. Now, this scoring tool needs to come out in order to be able to cut all the way across. So at the bottom, and I'm hoping you can see this, let's turn it sideways. There is a little notch where it's wider. You want to put that in there, and then this just pops out. Yeah, I need to turn it around so that I can do it the right way here. Okay, so it just pops out like that. So we need to take that out so that we have the full track that's available. And then we're going to position our cardstock, lining up this corner and the bottom corner in the track, and then just slicing it. Okay, so now we've got two pieces that are the same. Okay, so let's slide this out of the way. And actually, while I've got the paper cutter, let's show you the DSP. Okay, so for this particular card, I used two different pieces of DSP. And what you want to do is you're going to have a piece that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. You're going to put it in at an angle like this and cut. Okay, so now if you'll notice, actually let's fold our card before we do this. And I always have to look at my sample to figure out how to fold this. Okay, so we want it to go like this. All right, so we're gonna fold it in. So we've got the rectangular on the lower left, and you're gonna fold in and down. Now you can also do this so that it folds like this. For my fancy folds class, that's what we did. We did it opening like this, but today we're gonna do it like this. Okay, so now you'll notice the DSP. I can put this here, and I can put this here if I wanted the same pattern, but I can't flip this over, like it doesn't fit. You're gonna have to cut a separate piece of DSP to put in the top part, okay? So that's why I suggest that if you're gonna make one, you might as well make two, because you'll have the diagonal pieces for it and you'll have the bases for it. but we're gonna go ahead and use the same patterns that I've already used. Let's move these guys out of the way. Okay, so this guy's gonna go up at the top. I'm just gonna use some fast fuse to adhere it. So by cutting it 4 by 5 1/4 inches, it's already naturally about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the rest of the card. Let's open this up. So I'm going to position it in so that there's a little bit of a white border all the way around. And then I'll do the same with this one. This one's going to go on here. So many beautiful patterns in this paper pack. And this guy's gonna go here, again, leaving just a little bit of a white border. Works out to being a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. It's about, maybe about 1/16 of an inch. So now, this is how our card is going to open, like this. So I've got a piece of white cardstock that is 3/4 of an inch by whatever length you want, because we can trim it down. And I'm going to use some Memento black ink, and I've got the greeting, the thank you greeting from the Tropical Chic stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it on here. I apologize if my head is in the frame. Perfect. So I'll cover that over for a minute. And then I'm going to cut this at an angle. So I want it at an angle like this. And then the same on the other side. Like that. Okay, so that's going to be my greeting. And now I want a piece. I've got a big long piece of our Granny Apple Green ribbon. I love this new Granny Apple Green color. It's so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put a strip of adhesive across like this, and I want my ribbon to go about here, about like that, and I'll just trim this off. And my greeting's going to go right on top of that, so I'll add my adhesive right over top of that, and that's going to get put on here like so. And then I need to stamp some leaves. So I've got a couple pieces of scrap white, and I've got my 2 ink colors, which is Granny Apple Green and Shaded Spruce. I'm going to ink this larger leaf with Granny Apple. And then I'm going to take a finger dauber and dip it in the Shaded Spruce and just add a little bit of the darker green around the edges. And then I'll stamp my image on some white cardstock. And look how beautiful that looks. It just gives it a nice variegated look. And then I've got this fun leaf, and I'm going to ink it just in the Shaded Spruce and stamp it down. And then the coordinating framelets will be used to cut them out. So I use that one, it lines up perfectly, and then of course this one will line up with this one. If you're cutting from solid cardstock, you can use the inside of these as well, and it'll cut out a lot more detail, but for this particular purpose we're just using the outline image. And I've got them already cut just to save time. So here they are here. So I'll move these out of the way. And let's close these up so we don't get ink on everything. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring this guy in. I'm gonna use my bone folder just to add just a little bit of dimension to it. Add a little bit of adhesive to the bottom here and tuck this. I wanna make sure it doesn't hang over the card because you need it to be able to fit inside the envelope. And again, I'll curl this one add a little bit of adhesive to the bottom and add that guy on there. And then I'm gonna pull in some of the tropical elements. These are some cute little buttons and some shapes that coordinate with this suite. So I've gone ahead and added some linen thread through the little floral button and tied a bow. And I'm going to use a mini glue dot to stick it on here like this. And then one last thing, I'm going to stamp the inside with another one of these funky leaves, just right here, like that. Oh, I love the new ink pads. Love, love, love them. All right, and the card is done. See how quick and easy that was? So, so simple. All right, so remember to comment or share this video and subscribe. Be sure to subscribe. I'm getting so close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm pretty excited. And so is my son. He's been keeping track. You'll have the opportunity to win that card as well as the second card that I'm gonna make. So let's go ahead and move on to this one. Now this one was actually my swap for the Alaskan incentive trip that I am on as you see this today. So we are just leaving today actually. All right, so this card here, we are starting with a regular white, I like to use thick white cardstock. So it's a regular white cardstock base, so 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's my card base. And I'll set that aside, I don't need that right now. And then I've got a bunch of pieces here. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and cut a 4" by 5 1/4" piece of regular Whisper white cardstock, and I've embossed it using the tufted embossing folder, which is a beautiful new embossing folder. It's my favorite, that and the subtle embossing folder. Hopefully you can see that texture on there. It's gorgeous. And then I've got a piece of 3 by 3 DSP. And this is a piece of 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 white cardstock. And I've gone ahead and I've cut it out using this framelit from the framelit set. And then I've got some mini dimensionals on the back, and I'm going to just stick that right on top in the center of this DSP. So you'll notice the card that I'm making is a little bit different than the sample because I used up a couple different patterns making my swaps for the incentive trip, but it looks fabulous on this one as well. So then I'm gonna add a little bit of fast fuse to the back. Add this about 1/4 inch from the left and the bottom. And then I've got a 1" by approximately 3" piece of Whisper white cardstock. And I'm gonna take the greeting that says, "You are the greatest." I'm sure you've got lots of people in your life that you can give this card to. Ink it up, and I'm gonna stamp it down. Hopefully this is straight. Looks pretty good. All right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add adhesive on here. And let's see how we are for, okay, so I wanna trim it just a little bit on this side. I'm gonna tuck it under this raised part. Like that, make sure it's straight, and then I'm gonna trim this overhang. And then this piece, oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Okay, so now this piece, I'm gonna add some fast fuse and stick it to my card front. Just in the center here. And it'll have about 1/8 inch border all the way around. Okay, so now I need to do the big shot in a minute, but what I've done is I've got some of our metallic sequins, and this comes with multiple colors. You've got gold, silver, black, And then there's some iridescent ones as well. I've gone ahead and pulled out silver in the 3 different sizes, so a large, a medium, and a small. And I'm just adding just a little dot of Tombow in 3 different areas. And I'm going to put my sequence on so it will start to set while I do the next step in the card, on the card. Okay, so I'll set that aside and we're gonna stamp our flower. So I've got another scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got the floral image from the Tropical Chic stamp set, and Blushing Bride ink. Ink this up, stamp it on the white. And then I'm gonna pull in the coordinating framelit that matches and bring in my Big Shot. Let's move that guy out of the way. Okay, so I've got the magnetic platform clear cutting mat down, and position this so that there's a nice even border all the way around. That looks pretty good. And then the other clear cutting mat, and then feed that through. Being careful not to jiggle the table too much. And then we'll move the Big Shot out of the way. Pop this out, and we've got this beautifully cut flower. What did we do before we had the Big Shot, hey? Imagine all the fussy cutting we did. So much nicer when they've got framelets to coordinate. So I just added a little bit of fast fuse to the back, and I'm going to stick that on there, and the card is done. Look how pretty that is. Gives it a very different look with the different patterns behind. I actually really like that look. That's really cool. All right, so remember to subscribe to YouTube, to my YouTube channel, share this post, comment on Facebook or comment on the YouTube post, and I will enter your name to win these 2 cards. And those comments need to be done between the 20th and 26th of July 2018. And if you place an order of $50 or more using this hostess code on in my Canadian online store, then you'll receive a free package of red rhinestones with your thank you card. All right, so thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.